You ask questions about what will be. You refrain from the fearful choices. You put them in abeyance and you reach towards something higher. That is how you've chosen to allay fear, to reach for higher potential. It is effective. What is also effective is moving to an energetic place where fear does not reside, where it is not a choice because there is no need for the choice. Now, while Paul believes this is too ambitious a teaching for this class, we would like to offer it anyway. The agreement to the upper room, I am in the upper room, it's a claim of truth because there is an aspect of you that always resides there, is the articulation of the fearless self, once that has been chosen. What is the choice, you ask? To move beyond fear, to agree that you may live without it. But don't we need some fear for self-protection? Don't we need some fear to understand what's before us and weigh our possibilities? In fact, you don't require fear. It's a useful tool, yes, you see a bear, you run from the bear, but to understand that the bear is dangerous to you need not motivate you in fear. It simply motivates you to retreat. Now, when we teach you freedom, we are teaching you a much broader thing than you might expect. The claim of freedom, I am free, I am free, I am free, is not the justification for foolhardy behavior. Let's go taunt the bear. Let's see what happens if I step in traffic. I am so unafraid. To understand that freedom simply means you have the ability to choose anew, and to release the self from the adherence to the past structures that have operated in fear, and it will give you freedom to choose in a higher way. The claim, I am free, spoken again by the true self, supports your alignment to the upper room. The one who is free may choose this. The one who is unafraid may maintain the upper room. How do you maintain the upper room but by agreeing to it? Again, agreement is vibrational accord. So much of what you choose, needlessly we would say in fear, is in a presupposition that if you do not act upon it, you will meet some terrible fate. If I don't put 10 locks on the door, if I don't justify my lie so I don't get caught. Any lie told was told in fear. There has never been a lie that was not. And one lock will serve where 10 locks may not be needed. Why you require the one lock is not from fear. It's simply prudence. Prudence and fear are two different things. The alignment to align in the upper room is a choice to maintain a reality that coexists with the one you have known. Coexist means there is a vibrational field that operates concurrently with the one you have been born into. There are many stations to play on a radio. The station that you play is in coherence, or vibrational tone, with everyone else here. Humanity itself exists as a broadcast in commonality. While there are different languages spoken, different cultures all around you, every culture on this plane maintains an adherence to the notes of the chord they have chosen to be incarnated in. Each chord operates in tone. The tonal vibration claims your reality or the shared coherence of the individual within the collective. This is why you share a sky, a common beliefs of reality, many of which are inherited and some of which will be gone soon because humanity is at a juncture where the old must be released for the new to be born. This is the coherence you hold to the reality you know, a radio station, if you were, that exists with all of you in attunement to it. The attunements we offer you in teaching serve several purposes. It's the re-identification of the individual as of source. I am word through my body. Word, I am word. Vibration and expression or identity. The reality you choose to operate in has, in many ways, eschewed this reality. Your coherence with the higher is an agreed-upon idea. Your choice to be a man as you would think a man should be, a woman as you believe a woman to be, a rich or poor man or woman as you believe these things to be, operate in a strata of coherence or agreement to structure and form, informed by the legacy each idea holds. What a man should be, what a woman must be, what rich or poor is valued as. Now, in the upper room, through the claim, I am free, which supports the shift, the re-articulation of the monad or divine spark in form and field occurs in an unblemished state. And we use that word intentionally, unblemished. A restoration of the true self is being reborn in some ways into your own innocence, or purified state of vibration, which claims you in coherence to the higher octave or sets of tones that may be known or experienced. To be in the world but not of it is quite simply to know the self in physical form in a re-articulated state, where what you perceive is informed by the realization of the inherent divinity that is already all things seen. Now understand this. You look at a war, you deny the divine in a war, you damn the war, you're in coherence or agreement to the thing damned. Rearticulation at the level of the individual is a transposition of the music or tone that you have known yourself through. You shift to the upper room through the claims we offered you. But the process of shifting is a process of relinquishing that which was never true. And what was never true is what exists in fear. The transposition or the lifting of the tone to a new octave is the passage you undergo that we instruct you in. What we are now instructing you in is the maintenance of the tone that is the upper room, and how you perceive in an unblemished state. Now, to see something and say, "Oh, how awful," may mean you are a compassionate being, but it may also mean that you are ascribing meaning to what is so awful. To understand that people undergo pain, what a painful experience that must have been, makes it neither good nor bad, simply painful. There are many experiences that are painful to an individual or collective that are required and mandatory for the evolution of the individual or species. Childbirth for many of you is a painful occurrence and a glorious one as well. The new birth that you experience through these teachings may also be painful, because you are being made new at the cost of the old ideas. And the interference you hold in the energetic body that would claim fear, that would dilute the operative way of your expression taking form in a high way, must and will be attended to in this class. When we spoke to you of fear in yesterday's teachings, we were giving you a significant teaching that what you carry with you in the field serves as an attractor. Paul sees at times when he looks at someone a black dot that is in the field. He rightly assumes that to be something held in shadow or darkness that seeks release. When the thing is released, it is no longer attracting its evidence to itself. People are untrustworthy. You cannot love and not be harmed. However, these beliefs or ways of knowing the self that were claimed by you is inessential. The operative thing now is that the evidence of them that is available to you to be transmuted. When it is transmuted, it does not call to it evidence of its own purview. And this is what we work with today in this transitional teaching, because the next 2 days will be focused entirely on the maintenance of the higher octave. Now, your reliance on fear as your protector must be seen for what it is, a confused way of taking action in a lower way. It is not that you are wrong or bad for doing these things. If somebody told you the only way to home was to walk through a minefield, ideally you would find another route or be extremely cautious. But you need not be fearful. To be informed of a potential outcome does not mean you need to be frightened by it. The accountability that you have to any choice, born in love or born in fear, is its residual affect on others and the collective experience that you share. To realign to the higher octave at the cost of fear, ultimately, for some of you, will be the qualifier for your ability to maintain this teaching without effort. Underline without effort. Paul cannot imagine being unafraid. Fear has informed him for many incarnations, and while his passage, unique to him in some ways, is also universal, you have all been born into a field that is in coherence with fear. Because it's what you've known, you expect it to continue, and you cannot imagine being without it. On this day, we will say that the attunement we will offer you will be transitional. I am without fear. I am free of fear. I relinquish the requirement of fear to be my teacher. These attunements, I am free of fear. I release the need for fear. I am no longer in agreement to any mandate of fear, you may word it as you wish, will support this shift, which is actually held in the invocation we have already offered you. I am free, I am free, I am free. When you announce I am free, you are also giving permission to a new agreement, to an escalation in your field where what has been in fear may be released. Paul is seeing the image of something being flushed, moved out by a wave. And if you imagine that every fear you have held is in the being, in the energetic field or form, the claim, I am free, 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 will align you to a relinquishing of those things so that they may surface and release. When something surfaces, it may be seen or experienced. But because you understand that you are working in a new way, in some ways you are cleansing the pipe that would serve as the conduit for the divinity of your being, you may trust the process and what comes with it. Any fear will be met finally with a new way of seeing it, and the releasing of the agreement to it will be what aligns you in an ability to maintain the upper room. Now, for the new students, as we have said tonight, the upper room is a new octave, highs and lows there as well, just as in any scale. When you enter the upper room, you're entering a new field of vibration that you may experience and ultimately explore. We are not exploring yet. One day we may with you, but we wish you to understand where you are. Now, you may call it Christ mind, if you like the term, but the understanding of this is that it is the highest octave or level of vibration a human being can hold while maintaining form in a higher way. Those who've expressed in miraculous ways have inhabited the upper room in the highest strata. We don't need to take you there to occur a miracle. The miracle in the being of the upper room is in fact alchemical. The tone that you carry, the vibrational field that you hold at this level claims all things to it. You reside in union, in an occurrence of union, because you know yourself as of source. You comprehend everything else as of source as well. Your reliance on fear to be your director is immediately replaced by your intuitive knowing. Your intuitive knowing will train you with itself. It becomes as a compass that will direct you, perhaps away from fear or perceived danger, to your highest expression. Now, to be in the upper room does not keep you from pain. You may stub your toe in the upper room. You may lose your child, your inheritance, the man you thought you were, the woman you think you are supposed to be. These things may be lost and you may grieve them. But every grief will make way for the new and the new potential that is seeking expression through you. Now, some of you say, well, I don't want it hard. I just want to be happy and float on a rainbow. Well, find a way to do that if you wish. That is not this class. We wish to see you enjoy and not just easy contentment. You may have a glass of wine, sit back and watch the sunset if that is what you wish. We are teaching you something rather different, which is realization of the inherent divine while maintaining form at a level of coherence where you become the conduit, the alchemical conduit for the transposition of reality. Transposition of reality might well be a chapter in a text we will write. Transposition of reality means that your intonation or vibrational agreement is claiming all you encounter and bringing it forth to its own purified state, its own true nature, which, as we have said prior, cannot be separate from Source, because all things are of Source. Paul interrupts the teaching. We will allow this one. Before you said how we perceive war. Do we perceive war in the upper room? Indeed you do. You are not bypassing something. You have lifted above it to see it for what it truly is, an occurrence of fear that may be known anew. To claim, behold, I make all things new, underline the all, must be inclusive of war and of famine and of any justification to harm a fellow in any way, because in fact the divine in you, which you are learning to express as, would never claim harm knowingly to another. Now, the purified state that is invoked in the upper room has a process attached to it. Each attunement we have offered you has built on the prior one to support your maintenance or coherence of the accord it brings you to. Each attunement is as a note on a piano. When the notes are sung, played if you wish, in simultaneity and realization, they sing as a chord to be in accord with your divine nature, which is to be in accord, vibrational resonance, with the accord in all things. The upper room's chords, I am in the upper room. I have come, I have come, I have come. Behold, I make all things new. God is, God is, God is, it will be so, are almost the entirety of the chord that will hold you in maintenance as we continue the teaching. You must align in truth to each claim made. To align in truth does not mean to comprehend it intellectually. It actually means to integrate it, to know it. To know it is to realize it, and when you know something, it simply is. You are no longer striving, seeking, trying to placate some God that you seek to have love you. You become as of source, an expression of it, and the portal for others, or the doorway to the kingdom. You claim the kingdom through invocation. Behold, I make all things new. And the energy of the claim will actually release its own affect upon what is witnessed. There is no heavy lifting. It is done through expression. The claim, I have come, I have come, I have come, is in many ways the articulation of the prior attunements, the ones that precede it. When you have come, you have become realized in tone. The identification of the I that has come is not the small self. It is the individuated Christ or monad that resides in all beings and seeks its fruition. This is the action of the Word made flesh. This is not a false teaching, nor is it a new teaching. It's a very old teaching being offered in a new way. The language we use is an effort to reclaim what has been destroyed or what has been misused to control others. The realization of the divine self is the Christed self in wholeness. The Christed self in wholeness is in rearticulation, born again, or indeed made new, not as you have been taught, but as it can only be in truth. Your agreement to align to the upper room, I am free, I am free, I am free, and release the darkness that you have held in abeyance, denied in the self, preferred to ignore, or, in other cases, justified and wielded against others, will be met tonight through this teaching. You may say this after us if you wish. On this night I choose to release any fear that is controlling me, that I have agreed to, that I have gone into accord with. And as I say these words, I allow this release in perfect ways. I give permission for this release in perfect ways. And as I say yes to this, I say these words. I know who I am in truth. I know what I am in truth. I know how I serve in truth. I am free. I am free. I am free. Blessings to each of you. We will take a pause for Paul.